So we are living in this world. So the world offers us lots of challenges.
Right.
Just when we are thinking that everything is going smooth, something out of the blue happens and the entire balance is disturbed. Just when we are thinking that okay, now I have acquired a little control on my life, and there everything goes off balance. So I mean, is the problem in only our perceiving it like that? What is the real problem, and also how to tackle it?
Shall I answer that question? It will be more applicable to all of us.
Correct.
The question that you asked, if I can repeat it, we face so many situations in this world. So let's start with this world. See, this is one of the reasons why some of the great teachers said there is no point in wearing different robes and going away into the forest and sitting in caves and meditating. It doesn't help. We are in this world. We have to sort out this world's problems first. And we have to live in this world. Just because we put on ashes on our face or have matted hair or wear some peculiar dress doesn't change anything. It is basically the fear of the world that makes people run away like that. It doesn't mean anything. And what do you find if you go to the Himalayas? 90% of the sadhus are smoking ganja. Only the dress is different. So it is not that. It is how to face this world. I mean, this is basic because we all live in this world. Even the ashram and the sadhu is supported by the householder. So we are of this world. We have to live in this world. So we are faced with problems, different problems. What she was trying to say is, the moment we think, now everything has been sorted out, something raises its head. It's normal. It happens to everybody. Not now, later, sometime. When we think that now life is all fine, we are enjoying it, there's something lurking on the other side. I'm not trying to paint a pessimistic picture of life, but it is like that. These are facts that you have to accept. There's something lurking at the corner, which is, soon as you go, you'll suddenly see it there. She was asking, is that because of us? Is there the problems? Or what was that?
So, I mean, is it that we are perceiving it like that, or is it actually so? And number two, how to tackle it?
First, let us consider whether it's actually so or whether we are perceiving it. It is actually so. It's not to do with any perception. Perception can change the way we accept it or reject it. We can say, okay, it will go and tomorrow it will be all right, and that is our acceptance of it. That's how we can perceive. Some people may say, oh, this is finished, now is the end of life. That is how we perceive. Difference in perceiving it. That is one side. But you cannot rule out the fact that it is so. Now, this is what all the great religious teachers who have come from time immemorial have said, that this life, as long as you live, it is real. You cannot say this is unreal. It may be impermanent, but impermanent is different from unreal. As long as you are alive, it is very real. So, when you live in this world, these problems are like always bound to happen because this world itself is imperfect. It's not perfect. And no human being is perfect. Because we have a human body. We eat food and we sleep and we die. So we cannot be also 100% perfect. There may be something in us which is close to that which is perfect. But basically we are imperfect. So the thing is to understand this fact first. That life is full of ups and downs. Not to be afraid of it, but to understand it, that life is full of ups and downs, and that when you are on a high, be prepared that there might be a low coming. You can't say. Sometimes it takes years for the low to come, but it comes sometime. And even if it doesn't come, we are going to die. Nobody can stop us from. We can lengthen our life a little more maybe, but we have to go. And if you go, even if the world is there, what is the use? The world is not of any use to us. So this is the situation, actual situation. This we have to first accept that it is like this. Then comes the next step of how can we tackle this? Actually, this fact of ups and downs cannot be tackled. You can get temporary solutions, but there are no permanent solutions. Can anybody completely tackle death? Can someone tackle old age? Yeah, for 10 years maybe. Otherwise, all the beauty parlors will be out of business. But beyond that, one cannot tackle old age. It comes. It has to come, and death has to come. So, first we have to accept it, that it is like that. Then we have to think, so there is nothing in life, is that all there is to it? That we are born and we go through life, little happiness, little suffering, and then we die and go. Is that all there is to life? Or is there some more meaning in life? So we leave it there like that. We come to another angle. There have been people, saints, great people, these whom we call saints, who have worked for the good of others, for helping others in trouble and misery, without even taking care of what is happening to themselves. There have been very many such great people. Now, what is it that inspires them to do this? You see, that in this world there is suffering, there is no question. But there is also happiness. But there seem to be some people who are not so concerned about their own suffering, which is inevitable, but who want to help save others from whatever suffering they can. Where does that come from, that feeling? There is some dimension in the human being which is outside the clutches of this up and down, outside the clutches of happiness and pain. There is in a human being some part of one's core of one's consciousness, something which is not of this body and which is not affected by any of these things, which by its very nature is a spark of the divine, and which by its very nature is full of joy. Now, the problem is that we search for satisfaction, 100% satisfaction, 100% happiness in the outside world. That is where the problem is. The problem is because the search is in the wrong direction. If the search can turn inward, you will find that that satisfaction which you seek is actually within us. It is the spark of the divine which is in every living being. But all living beings other than humans cannot go back and find it. The human being has the capacity to find it, which is why the human being is different from other animals. They are also quite intelligent, the animals. Not they are not intelligent, they are. Sometimes they are much more intelligent, and I think some of them are better than us in many ways. Sometimes I wonder if monkeys are better than us. You can say that they don't have intelligence. That is not true, they have intelligence. But they don't have the imagination, which is a double-edged weapon. So, I am saying that in the human being, there is a spark of the divine, which being a part and parcel of whatever you call it, divinity, God, supreme being, cannot be defined, partakes of the joyful essence of that being, Anand. So, the problem arises because you cannot solve these problems of ups and downs in this world. There will be always some sorrow. however happiness there is. We cannot sort it out. There is always impermanency, there cannot be permanence. But that is because we think that we can depend on this world for our happiness. Fact is, we cannot. So the moment we understand this and turn around and say, perhaps I can find it within, then there is a possibility that you can sort out this problem. Not that the saint or the spiritual person who turns around and goes within himself and is in communion with the Supreme does not suffer. He also has, like all human beings, to go through certain things, and he also has to die physically. But he has discovered the fountain of all satisfaction within himself. Therefore, even though all these things happen around him, he is not affected. Now, since he is not affected by it, he wants to help others to be not affected by it. That's why great spiritual beings teach or try to help others do this, do that, follow this, not because they want to make any profit out of it or do anything of that kind. I mean, they're not in business, that is not the thing. The thing is because they feel they have genuinely found something, and that is like a breath of fresh air, and they want to share it with others who they somehow feel sorry for and say that why are these people suffering when there is no need to suffer. I mean, physically, yes, suffering is there, but mentally, most of our sufferings are mental. They are not physical. Although they are dependent on physical. I'll tell you an example. I think I am a great man, let us say. I don't think, I am saying. Suppose I think I am a great man. I have these qualities, I have that qualities, I am so and so. There are hundreds of people respecting me and so on. And then I go out traveling and I go to a restaurant. And that waiter and if someone there misbehave with me, tell me that we can't get out. Now what happens? Actually there's nothing. You can go to the next shop and have a cup of tea. Doesn't matter really. But what happens? This ego of mine which I have built up, saying that I am great and so many people are with me and they all, that gets hurt. It's not so much physical. I can get a cup of tea from the other shop. Kuch nahi hone wala. But no, I have to show off. I must say I cannot do this because I have created an image and I don't want that image to burst. So we are saying, ye image kya hai? What is this image? It is merely an invention of your mind. So why make it at all in the first place? Why don't you leave it like that? Why create? If you don't have a bubble, who's going to burst it? But I am saying, and people say, is it possible to? I think it is possible to live like that. It's possible to be free of these images which we build ourselves. See, what is it that we have? If I have a lot of money, then I can have a lot of people who are looking after me. Or if I have some power which they expect to share, I can expect a lot of people looking after me. Moment I am on the streets and I have nothing, nobody will look after me. This is normal. If people say, oh, but they have looked after fakirs who are, because they expect something from the fakir. Na? Otherwise, why would they look after him? So, when you understand this fact and say that in this world, there is only one whom you can call your own. And that is that Supreme Being whose spark is in us. You can call him God, you can call him what, or you don't want to call him God, you call him nature, whatever you want to call him. That's the only friend you have, true friend. All other friendships can fall at any time. Much of our energy is spent in protecting these relationships so that they don't fall apart. And in that itself there is so much strain and confusion and conflict that we are constantly concerned about it. While that one which is dear to our heart has no such problem. You don't have to give anything, you don't have to, you just have to fix your attention once in a while and say, here you are, here I am. And I personally believe that that is the only way to solve this problem. I'm not saying we shouldn't try to solve the problems which are created around us. We should. We cannot be lazy and lie down and say everything will be solved. No, that's not the solution. But you must remember, however much you solve, the problem of sorrow remains, the problem of death remains, the problem of misery remains, and the only way to sort it out is to turn around and look at it. You cannot look outside and find it. You can find it only inside. When you have found it inside, then you will see it outside everywhere. Because if you have a spark of the divine inside you, why is it that others don't have a spark? They also must be having, whether they know it or they don't know it. But you know it, therefore you should respect others. It's not a respect created out of compulsion or because of social circumstances. It's a respect coming out of the true understanding that every living being is a God by himself or herself. However much he or she by her or his actions has covered it and hidden it, basically it is. So, there is no harm in bending down and touching somebody's feet, because they are all gods. This is a fact. So, that is what Kabir Das meant when he said about the Kasturi deer, the Kasturi mriga, which carries musk under its tail in a small bag, and when the beautiful smell comes, goes around looking outside, where is the smell coming from? The Kasturi is inside, right there in us. So where are we searching for it? And if you turn round and see, that's why people say, I'm praying to God, and they close their eyes. Why? Because you have to look within. Outside you will not see anything except lights and trees, which are also God in different form. But the only way to contact is first through inside, and then it will go outside automatically. It's not that that Supreme Being is not present. If it is all pervading, it is everywhere. But your contact is only through inside. And when the inside opens up, then you become more and more selfless. When you become more and more selfless, the lotus of the heart opens up. When the lotus of the heart opens up, then everybody is your own. There is nobody who is not your own. Whether the person is kind to you or cruel to you, it doesn't matter. Because that is the person, not the individual. So, to your question, while we try to sort out these problems, we should remember that there are no permanent solutions. First, accept this fact. Then, also understand that that permanent solution lies within. Because within us is divinity. So, while you work in this world, keep your mind centered inside. Then you can tide through all the problems that occur. You can be You know this in life. You sort one problem out, there's another standing. You sort that out, there's another standing. By the time we sort out, there is the problem of collecting firewood for the funeral pyre. It's over. Really, this is a fact. And time goes so fast, you never know. The other day I did some mischief and somebody was telling me, 60 years old, remember, you're still at it. So you don't know how time is going. You still think you are a child.